So imagine, you walk into the theater, you take the middle seat in the middle row, directly between the left and right speakers, directly between the door to the theater and the emergency exit behind the screen. You watch the greatest movie you've ever seen for the fifth time, and just like every other time, you see something new. Now instead of a theater, substitute the couch in your living room. That's home.
For me, how I want it to feel curated, layered, collected, and I want to be wowed at my own space when I come into it.
Yeah.
And I want some depth there. I think we talked about depth the other day. I want it, you could say busy, you could say complex, but I want to be able to keep coming back to it and seeing new things in it.
So imagine, you're on the front porch swing of your grandmother's house, a beautiful summer day in the month of May, shucking corn and shelling peas. You're surrounded by 3 generations of family. Your grandson is spinning through the front yard. Your granddad is barbecuing ribs. Smoke, ash, and embers flicker through the air. Now instead of a porch swing, substitute the couch in your living room. That's home again.
But I know for me, I just always remember being at my grandma's house, which was my aunt, uncle, and cousin's house when they moved in, going down the hallway that leads to the bedroom and bathroom. She always had the wall of pictures on both sides, and it just always stuck out to me that I was able to see, great grandparents all the way to cousins, grandparents all the way to me, and just seeing, oh, there's a space and place for everybody. So I've always just wanted inclusivity. I don't want to leave anybody out. I want to be able to know that I may not be with you in physical space and time for whatever reason, but you are not forgotten. After a lifetime of constant moving, you learn a thing or two about the soul of a house. We spent decades defining and redefining what home means, one zip code at a time. We moved for the kids, we moved because owning felt like an anchor, then moved back because renting felt like wings. We packed boxes in the heaviness of separation and unpacked them in the joy of reconciliation. Hey, we fled the shifting tides of a changing America and even fled our neighbors' pesky dogs. We never met a reason to move we didn't like. But the clock has a way of slowing you down. To be honest, I'm tired. The sheer energy it takes to turn 4 new walls into a sanctuary over and over and over again is more than this old body can carry. All those years of wants have finally hardened into needs, and those needs into can't live without. After all these miles, we're still discovering how differently the two of us define the feeling of home. And I've always wanted and like some kind of femininity and fanciness as well. Just the way that, we grew up in the 80s watching certain TV shows. I'm sure you probably didn't watch some of the ones that I did because I am a girl and I'm following my mom. So you may not have been watching Dynasty but you know those shows.
Probably, yeah.
If I said Falcon Crest, you would know, but you probably weren't watching them,
There's
right?
a particular look of, to me it almost felt shiny and hazy and had a glow about it. Some of that was 80s, lack of resolution.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was sort of like pink and frilly and
it was always lush and just, and that's what Dallas, Dallas, Falcon Crest, and what did I say? Dynasty. And, those were shows where people were wealthy.
Rich Southern.
They were rich, right? But they did have space for a few black characters, and Diane Carroll's character, for instance. And it's like, oh my goodness, not only is she beautiful, but look at her stuff. I can grow up and be like that too. Yeah, right. But as I did get older, and as we go antiquing, I'm like, why do I like this? It's not necessarily that I may like it, but it was something I saw. And it's like, the fancy perfume bottle, you know. And it's like, that's where, you know, this is just tucked away. And then I'm able to buy it, and it's like, oh my gosh, it actually wasn't that terribly expensive. Some of them are $25, you know, but it's the air, you know, and the appearance of looking fancy.
So for me, I definitely want my home to feel collected, curated,
fancy.
I mean, you could call that fancy.
Yes.
But I definitely want it to feel like when you walk in, this is something that Chris and Jackie put together purposefully.
You know, I wanted to look fly and homey at the same time.
Okay.
You're welcome. That's, I'm easy.
Something that people go in and say, hey, wow, this is nice. Like, it makes a positive impression on them as they come in.
You're thinking about visitors.
A little bit.
Okay.
But I think I want to have that same feeling too when I come home. I want to come home to my
wowed.
place and be like, oh man, this feels
This is nice.
The right way. It's nice and it feels good.
I also like freshness, so I love flowers. I grew up around a lot of plants, but my mama didn't give me the green thumb, so I kill plants, though I really would love to grow some plants in the house. But the next best things, I guess, are flowers, since we know they're going to die within a few weeks anyway. Yeah. So, but I love that nature piece as well.
Curated, layered, collected, and I want to be wowed at my own space when I come into it.
Since I've been watching you, I have leaned into your flavor, just so you know, a little bit. And what I like is adding your flavor to my sense of wanting family represented. Right? So, okay, how can we, you know, do your base, the foundation that you set, in your vision, like, okay, how can we put the kids in there? How can we put our grandparents in there? How can we pay homage to our culture and our heritage and those things that are important, you know, because looking fly is one thing, but especially because it's our home, like, can it be grounded in those things that make us who we are?
And I think that's a big addition that you brought to it, of like, okay, I have this idea of having layered stuff, and there's fabric in the back, and there's frames on top of it, and there's a bench down there, and that's got stuff on it, but like, what's in the frame?
Our vision doesn't grow in a vacuum. It's nourished by our ancestry and the pulse of Black history and culture. It's the wisdom whispered over Sunday pots, the echoes of hymns that carried our people through, and the tapestry of a culture that refuses to be quiet. While our roots run deep, our eyes remain wide, open to new inspiration. A wandering spirit that can appear in something as simple as a postage stamp or something as familiar as my father's pocket square.
Keep your eyes open. If something is beautiful to you, regardless of what it is, pick it up and take it home.
Yeah.
Like, over my left shoulder, there is a scarf in a frame.
Right.
Instead of putting a curtain on the window, I put a scarf in a frame. And like, for some reason, I've been attracted to like silk scarves lately. Like, two of the ones I have on the wall behind you were from my dad. Like, some of the things he left behind. Like, you know, he always had a nice pocket square.
Yeah.
So that's probably just why I've been kind of attracted to it lately. I'm just remembering him with his pocket squares.
Oh, okay. So like right now over your shoulder, and I'm sure we'll give everyone a tour soon, is something that I it was just inspired by a trip to the post office, and it was an older black gentleman. He needed a book of stamps, and it never dawned on me to ask the customer, as the lady did, well, what would you like your stamps to be? And so she said, well, I have some hearts for love, I have forever stamps as the flower, and then she goes, I have some Hank Aaron's. And what did the older black gentleman say? I want a book of them Hank Aaron's. And it dawned, like, a book of stamps. I would have never thought of getting a specific book of stamps. But this is what ended up making me purchase them, was the fact that they were not like the book of stamps that I grew up with. My mom used to always get stamps because she was the Hallmark queen of our family, and they would come. They were narrow strip, right? But the book of
U.S. flag or whatever.
That's right. And so, but the book of stamps she gave the gentleman, it was on a whole page. It's like a 5x7, and they were beautiful. I was like, I saw art, and then I also saw something maybe I could save, you know what I mean, a keepsake, if you will. And I'm like, I'm gonna give me a book of them stamps too. So I end up getting Muhammad Ali stamps and Bruce Lee stamps, and I think I'm gonna order Hank Aaron's and Jackie Robinson's. I think Mary McLeod Bethune has one. Betty White has a book of stamps. I mean, there's all kinds of stamps. And so it's like, they're cheeky, they're fun, they tell a story, they're affordable. I mean, whatever. They're affordable, you know what I mean, but for less than $20. And to get a frame. So sometimes it's just having your eyes open, making an observation, right? And then it's like, okay, frame it. Just frame it. Put it in a shadow box. Put it on the floating shelf. And then that one thing that was just so random and regular, you know, has now become art.
I think when you can appreciate so many different styles, you then have a large inventory to pull from. So like if you go into our living room, you can probably find cottage core frames next to Art Deco frames, next to plain old, you know, bought it off of Amazon, white plastic frames. Like once you start understanding all these different pieces of different things, you can walk into it and say, hey, I need red texture in this size, and go get red texture in this size. And it could be Moroccan, it could be mid-century modern, it doesn't matter then.
Then it's just, you just get what you like.
It's just you just kind of playing and freestyling and fitting things in where they fit. But if you say, hey, I want a mid-century modern house, and I want to stick to that aesthetic and do nothing else, then you got to go hunt for mid-century modern pieces, which can be difficult. Or if you go to mid-century modern hut store or whatever.
Yeah, and it could be expensive too.
Yeah, it could be expensive too. So like, I think it can be complicated because you never know what might fit into what place. But it can also be easy because you have so many options you can go pull from. You don't have to be stuck in a particular style.
Now, once you get past the inspiration phase, now it's time to go do the thing. And to do the thing, that takes trust, collaboration, compromise, and a little bit of faith.
And let's just be clear, your aesthetic sometimes goes over my head. Also, it gets on my nerves. Just putting it out there.
Well, I think for me, like my aesthetic isn't really an aesthetic. It's more about, let me start here and then grow out from there.
And then sometimes I'm the opposite, right? Let's just go here and then bring it back in. Or I also don't have that frame of reference, right? So like this morning, I'm like, let's put the peacock feathers in here. And you're like, but against this and then, and like, whatever, dude, right? Just put the peacock feathers back. And then you're like, no. And so,
but I mean,
like,
think that's
I don't
what I love
have
about
that.
your perspective, because my perspective can be governed by design principles all the time. And sometimes it can't. Like sometimes the stuff that shouldn't work works.
Right.
So like sometimes you put yourself in a box and say, oh, this should not work because of this principle. But like if somebody doesn't know that principle, they just do it, and then it's like, oh well,
yeah,
it just works.
Yeah, like the principle of grouping things in three, right? So I get it, right? There are things that I don't know, but sometimes it can be, for me, it can be limiting and annoying. So I just want to make sure you know that part. But also, I love, even as annoying some at times, and things that maybe are misunderstood because I don't know what I don't know, or I don't know what you know maybe. 99.9% of the time, it's always the bomb. It's going to come out really, really nicely. And so I do have to sometimes just breathe and let it go, because it's you, and you have a really good sense of taste. You have a good eye. All those things that you do need, right? To pull it off, to pull off a good project. And it was like, it's going to come out nicely.
I'm going to figure it out.
You will, right?
It might look dumb for a little while, so I put things in the right place, and like I just have that. I would say faith, but it's not even faith anymore. Like I know if I give the time some process, give the process some time, it's going to come out to something great. And that might mean tearing it all up and starting over from scratch, or taking out big pieces.
We will not be doing that, as I nod.
Just knowing that I don't have to be stuck in a lane that takes me into failure. I can change my course and adjust things as needed, and it's going to come out into something. And even more so now, I think, after years of being a chef and a graphic designer and a UX designer and a MC and visual artist and doing all these things, I now have a more unique sense of the way I could put things together in a space. Because I've said oftentimes, like, creativity is all the same thing. So like, once you see what we've done with the living room, like, that feels like a sampled piece of music in a lot of ways. Like there's
So little ting to this, little ting to that.
There's vintage pictures. There's historical stuff. There's new stuff. There's all this sort of mixture of thing that kind of comes together into this unique aesthetic. And some of it is a happy accident, which when you're making music, you get a happy accident.
Or cooking too. You run out of something and you try something else. You fill it in. It's like, oh, that actually worked.
We hope you enjoyed this peek into the process of making our home in a new city and a new life. Join us next time, where we'll discuss why we chose this particular property and why it stood out in our search. Until we speak again, we'll be finding our style, finding our peace, finding home again.
And I would like to say that we're sponsored by our local antique shops.
The Goodwill, the Salvation Army, Antique Village.
Antique Village, yes. And the art gallery 2 blocks away from us. Like
Front Street Art Galleries.
Oh,
Good
my.
Shepherd Thrift Store 2 blocks away.
Like, go thrifting.